And there we have it. Of course, there are loads more combinations as well as optimized ways to play the character in a vacuum setting. However, I think in actual combat, this is probably my favorite way to play Yinlin. Hey everyone, TimaeuSS here and welcome to another Wuthering Waves video, and this is the ultimate guide to every single Yinlin combo out there, okay? And the reason why I say that is because, remember we did this poll when I asked you guys which ones you want to see in terms of the combo rotations? Well, look no further, we're actually just going to do them all. That's right, in this video, I'm going to show you some of the most popular team compositions with Yinlin and their rotations, but I'm also going to teach you how to use Yinlin in any single team composition. That's right, you can use her with anyone as long as she's in the sub DPS, or should I say the burst DPS slot, because by understanding how to use an opener rotation as well as a burst rotation, you will be able to master the use of Yinlin and slot her anywhere. We will cover both the CN as well as the global rotations for Yinlin in this video. Now this is like a 2-in-1 special. However, if you think about it, this is more like a 5-in-1 special, because not only are we going to cover Yinlin and her openers and standard rotations, we'll also cover the rotations of her teammates. That's right, in the team compositions, we will cover the variations in her rotation and how her teammates will be using their attacks and the timing of that. So this is going to be a very in-depth guide, and also for the global one, there's also an easy/emergency mode rotation that is mobile device friendly. So I think a lot of the casual players would definitely appreciate this and get the most out of their Yinlin on a mobile device. Now, the first combo you're going to learn is the opener rotation for Yinlin from the global side, and this is done by Pridewind, and I believe the pioneer behind this is Win to Lose, I Win to Lose. So definitely do check out his channel as well as the Pridewind site if you have a chance. Honestly, some of the best and the smartest theory crafters in the game. Now, taking a look at the opener rotation and setting a difference. Okay, what is the opener rotation? What is the standard rotation? They have the same terminology as well over on scene. Essentially, the opener rotation is how you get your characters to warm up. Oftentimes you'll have the ultimate ready, as in the Tower of Adversity. You'll have that available at the start. So that's the difference, and of course at the very start you're not going to have the forte gauge available, so there's no intro and no outros unless you build it up. And that's why in the beginning the rotations will be a bit different, and once you use all of the skills at the beginning, then we can go into the standard rotation, but this is more like the warm-up phase of the game. So let's take a look at what global has to offer. Now let's see this in action in slow-mo. We're using the Encore, Yinlin, and Jiangxing team, but Encore can be any main DPS, and of course Jiangxing can be any support. You can use Verna here or even Yang Yang. I use Jiangxing to gather everyone up, and the carrier of the Bell Echo. You can see here we use it with animation cancel with the long press, the resonance skill. Yinlin comes in with the swap. Okay, there's no intro from this, just a swap with 2 basic attacks. You hear a quick slap 1-2, and now you can use your resonance liberation. And a lot of people ask, why don't you use resonance skill? Well, it's okay because we want to save the energy gained from the resonance skill here. It's not a lot, but at least it's something. We use our resonance skill twice in animation cancel with a swap in, quick swap with Encore. Again, this can be Havoc MC. We get the entire resonance skill off of the Encore, and we quick swap back into Yinlin. Slap twice with the attack from the quick swap, and then heavy attack. This is the crucial part. You want to heavy attack twice with Yinlin after the quick swap. And you can see here that the damage coming out is decent, but most importantly, it fills out your judgment points at the bottom, and you're going to mark everyone. So now everything gets converted into punishment mark, and this fills the forte gauge. So the next DPS coming in is going to have an intro, and here we use Encore, but again, you can use Havoc MC, and this is your burst window coming out. So the cool part about this is that you get your warm-up from your support character, which we use Jiangxing here, and then you get a quick resonance skill swap in or a quick echo swap in. That can be the Dreamless from your Havoc MC, and then Yinlin will come in basically once in the beginning to do the warm-up, and then once at the end to quick swap in after the resonance skill from the main DPS to do crazy amounts of damage, mark everyone the 2 heavy skills, and then she can basically sit her ass down on my face right away. So this is the global opener, and a super fast one at that. This is probably even faster than the CN one, which we're about to see. So the CN opener rotation has some subtle differences, so pay attention. Now we're going to use the exact same team, and again, your main DPS can be anyone, and the supports can be swapped as well. But Jianxing here is going to gather everyone up and use the Bell Echo animation cancel with the Resonance skill. Everything's the same so far. Yinlin comes in, slaps twice, and we'll use the Resonance skill. That's right, that's the big difference. We'll use our Resonance skill first to gain that boost for the crit rate, and then use the Resonance Liberation followed up with a 4-hit basic attack, triggering off of these magnetic states, and then ending with the second part of the Resonance skill, and then one round of heavy attack that fills up our judgment point gauge, and then we can intro in after everything's been converted to the punishment marks, and now Encore can do some serious damage and everyone is marked. You can see that the difference here is that the CN rotation actually has Yinlin on field a bit more, and they don't do the quick swap cancel versus the global one where we got one round of the resonance skill off of Encore, or potentially an echo off, but they don't do that. They just let Yinlin come in after the supports have done their thing, and then the warm-up rotation is just full Yinlin marking everyone, and then the ultimate gaining some Sinner's marks, and then converting everything before we swap out with a full 40 gauge and an intro to our main DPS. Personally, both are good. I think if you are a bit more beginner friendly, then your option should be the CN one, because you don't have to do any swaps in between. But if you're looking for that extra damage, potentially you could do the global one for that extra boost, because you can get your Havoc MC, get a heavy attack off or an ult off, and then the Dreamless can come out right before you quick swap into Yinlin. So it has its pros and cons, but the most important thing you need to know is that regardless of which opener you do and what main DPS or support you run, this equation of the opener will fit into any single team. You get your supports, their rotations, you get it off, whether it be longer than Jianxing's current rotation or shorter, like a Verina 5-second opener rotation, it doesn't matter. Your goal is to get your supports rotations off and then let Yinlin come in and do her thing, fill up the forte gauge, and then your DPS will be able, your main DPS will be able to dish out insane amounts of damage to enemies that are all marked with punishment marks. And the one thing to note is that this works best in AoE situations where there are multiple mobs. Now for the opener, especially if there are just a single boss, for example, you may not gain enough judgment points, in which circumstances you have to use a few more basic attacks, or you need to come in with an intro from Yinlin, or just follow up with a few more basic attacks before you can sit your asses down with Yinlin and gain a fully filled judgment points gauge. So that's the difference. But yeah, this is the opener, and again, this opener is widely applicable. And let's take a look at what the standard rotation looks like once you get things going. Now let's take a look at the CN standard or burst rotations, as this is very similar to the opener as well, so while it's still fresh in your mind. Now it's very important that once you learn the openers and then the standard rotations, you can mix and match between any characters that have these combos or rotations, because you'll see later on showcase the team rotations video that it's basically putting all the puzzles together, and then you just do all of these in sequence. So let's take a look at Yinlin's one. Now for the CN side, they basically ask you to intro in with Yinlin when you can, and then use your resonance skill once, and then the resonance liberation. So far the same, attack twice, and then you get to sit your butt down. Now you can use your echo after that. If you don't have enough to sit your butt down, what you can do is use resonance skill, resonance liberation for basic attacks, and then resonance skill for the second part, and then you can sit your butt down. So it's very similar and easy to do, and compared to the opener, it's pretty much the exact same, unless you have a bit more in terms of the energy, the judgment points. Then you can forego the second part of the resonance skill and forego the second two parts of the 4 attack basic to allow your heavy strong main DPS like a Havoc MC to come in and then deals insane damage to the enemies that have been marked with the punishment mark. Now the global part of the standard rotation is actually very straightforward. Basically, you can come in, echo, swap, cancel, and if you have intro, come in and use your resonance skills and swap, cancel the second part of the resonance skill. Now, if you swap in and you don't have your resonance skill ready, then just basic attack a couple of times as long as you reach the final part where you can swap, cancel again for the animation. And by this time, you should have your ultimate up, which means another quick intro or just a quick swap in. Use your ultimate to apply the center's mark and then hold the left click button because it will sit your ass down right away without spending an extra basic attack because it just continues where you left off from the ultimate. So all of this is quite straightforward, but again, through real testing, okay, not a lot of times are you going to be able to quick swap in and then get two basics off. And I'll show you in the rotation with Calcharo, Encore, and whatnot that this new rotation that I've been using, which is a combination of both, really works well with the characters, the main DPS, and it doesn't really require you to use the basic attacks at all because you have that window to let your main DPS do his or her rotation. So anyhow, those are the standard as well as the openers from CN and Global. So let's take a look at what things look like when all of the teammates and all of your three characters are in action. Now we'll showcase the Calcharo rotation with Yinlin, and we're going to use our level 5 Yang just for the AoE crowd gathering ability and also the Echo quick swap. Now we're going to use the CN opener, which is Resonance skill for that extra crit, and then Yinlin is going to use the Resonance Liberation, followed up by a 4-hit basic attack combo into the second part of the Resonance skill. Now one round of heavy attack after all this will give us enough judgment points to apply all of the punishment marks, and then we outro into Calcharo with a Resonance Liberation right away, and the damage is absolutely insane. So someone did the calc post quick swap nerf. It's much better for Calcharo to remain in, and even if you only get off 3 death messengers, he will do a lot more damage than comparing to a quick swap doing 3 death messengers with Yinlin filling out the death messenger animation between. So now Yinlin comes in with an intro because Calcharo does so much damage, so therefore the gauge is full, and use E twice and then echo, and then you can quick swap to your support here to use the bell or anything. Again, this can be very not the best in slot, and we'll use Calcharo to come in and use a resonance skill, the 3-part skill, and then we'll swap on the animation of the death messenger, or the heavy attack. Rather, this is the heavy attack because this is not the resonance liberation mode. Now Yinlin will come in here, and this time on the second or rather this is the third swap in, you will have your resonance skill up, and then you can use that with your ultimate or your resonance liberation, and you can sit your asses down. And after this, Calcharo's intro will trigger with Yinlin's outro, so you can have enough energy to go into resonance liberation again. So this perfectly aligns with the rotation. Again, you use your CN opener or global opener, this doesn't matter, and your main DPS comes in. We saw that how Calcharo was able to come in via an outro with his own intro and go into resonance liberation to obtain the full benefit from Yinglin's buffs from the outro. And after your death messenger is out, you basically let Yinlin come in, you use a resonance skill twice, and then echo out quick swap. So this is going to be the same across everything. You echo out and then you swap to your support, let your support do his thing or her thing, and then you go back into Calcharo and use your resonance skill 3 times for a death messenger, and then by that time you quick swap in, and now Yinlin has the ultimate as well as 2 hits of the resonance skills remaining. So this is perfect rotation wise. Okay, you can see everything's cleared and everything fits. It just fits. Now let's take a look at this Encore rotation, and you'll find it very similar to the Calcharo one. We'll start off with the support, and you can use Verna here best in slot. I'm using a Jianxing to match the Yang and the Bell Echo Cancel into Yinlin quick swap, and this is the global rotation using the Resonance Liberation first into Resonance Skill twice, and then followed up with a quick swap, and Encore is going to do massive amounts of damage with her Resonance Skill, and then we'll quick swap Yinlin back in 2 rounds of heavy attack. We'll dodge this, and with a counter attack, it's not going to do much. We'll still get our judgment points filled up here, and And now we intro the main DPS in. So very similar to how Calcharo intros in here and uses the Resonance Liberation. This time it's Encore doing massive amounts of damage to people with the punishment mark across all the enemies. So you can see the main DPS window is going to be the same across any character you use, and it's after the opener and after they've been marked. Now we'll swap Yinlin in with an intro here and use 2 resonance skills, and we can echo out. If you don't have the echo or don't want to use it, that's fine. We'll swap into our support. We use the belt and we swap back into our main DPS to spam their resonance skill and their echo. This time, this will give us the ample opportunity for Yinlin to recover from her resonance skill cooldown, and then we open up with a resonance liberation into the resonance skill. I move here to make sure that I catch everyone in this resonance skill AoE, and then we set our assets down, and now everyone's marked, and then your main DPS will come in with a full, that's right, a full Resonance Liberation energy gauge to begin the second window of DPS output. So this again is very similar to Calcharo's second entry, where you will get the Death Messenger off, and we get to intro Yinlin again after the DPS window to use 2 hits of the Resonance skill, and we swap our support in to get the Bell Echo up, and this time we should be able to use the support's Resonance Liberation as well. We get our main DPS in one more time to get off the Resonance skill along with the Echo usage. And now Yinlin is ready to come in for another round of the ultimate into 2 resonance skills. So you can see very similar, the timings and the rotations. And now after the 2 resonance skills, we'll be able to use the heavy attack to now mark everyone with the punishment mark. And this time the main DPS will come in with a full resonance liberation ready to go, just like Calcharo did in his rotation. The timing just matches. And there we have it. Of course, there are loads more combinations as well as optimized ways to play the character in a vacuum setting. However, I think in actual combat, this is probably my favorite way to play Yinlin, just due to the fact that you got 2 openers to choose from. And then for the main rotation, it doesn't matter who you pick. Your main DPS can be anyone you want to use, and your support can be varied as well, whether you are valuing more crowd control or you want just straight up insane boost coming out from a character like Verna. Regardless, Yinlin will be able to fit in that team as long as you use the rotation showcase here, your opener, and then into the swaps with the 2 resonance skills, and then allowing your main DPS to get off their resonance skills and echoes and back into Yinlin's ultimate into resonance skill. The outro and the main component of Yinlin's kit will be with you the entire way, and you will be able to activate the punishment mark, which is the most important component of her kit. Anyhow, I think I've kept you here long enough, and thank you guys for watching this video, and I really hope you enjoyed this one. And it's TimaeuSS here. Let me know what you want next, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Goodbye now.